Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite tournament or GPP plays for this Week 18 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in these videos, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet, breaking down a couple of game stacks that I like targeting here in Week 18, as well as some of my favorite individual plays and stacks. But as always, everyone, just want to remind you and highly recommend joining my free Discord channel. You can see that mentioned above, especially on a Week 18 slate like this, where there's so much uncertainty. I use this example in my cash plays video. If the Steelers win here on Saturday, the Chargers probably aren't going to start their starters on Sunday. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose on Saturday, well then the Chargers have something to play for, that number 5 seed where they play the Houston Texans in round 1. So again, join the Discord channel. It's completely free. I'll link that in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. I'll give a final cheat sheet on Sunday morning for both my cash plays and my tournament plays. With that being said, let's dive into the cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off with a couple of game stacks that I like targeting, starting with this game between the Seahawks and Rams. Now, the Rams are not going to be playing their starters here this week. Part of the reason I like a little Geno stack here with his top 2 pass catchers in Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf, both very affordable there as well. So I like the stack initially there, running it back with Blake Corum, who is expected to get a full workload at the running back position this week. There's a little coach speak there with Sean McVay, but at $5,600, I'm willing to kind of bite that bullet, hoping he gets 20 plus touches in this game. But the reason I really like the Geno stack here, outside of the Rams playing their backups, is because he has $4 million worth of incentives here this week. If he throws over 186 passing yards, $2 million bonus. And if they win this game, getting 10 wins on the season, another $2 million bonus. So I'm going to be firing up the Seahawks quite a bit this week, not only in my cash lineup, but also my tournament lineups. And then one game where neither team has anything to play for here this week, but I think we could see some shootout potential playing indoors, is this game between Jacksonville and Indianapolis. Now, I do think we could stack up the Joe Flacco side here, roll out Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr., but I really do kind of like Jonathan Taylor here this week. He's been fantastic in each of his last 2 games, and that Colts defense has been so brutal. 45 points allowed to the Giants last week. So I like kind of a 1-to-1 stack here with Mac Jones and Brian Thomas Jr., who's now seen double-digit targets in 5 straight games, and then running it back there with Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. And again, you can mix that up if you wanted to, putting in a Josh Downs, or maybe you just kind of roll out a little 3-stack here with Mac Jones, Brian Thomas Jr., Jonathan Taylor, and call it a day. Now, folks, before we dive into some of these individual plays and stacks here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. It's completely free to do, and every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave here on this channel and on this video truly does help me out. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays and stacks here, we're going to kick it off at the quarterback position. First guy that I got there is Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos. Broncos have something to play for here this week. They need to win to make the playoffs. And again, I kind of like the matchup, actually. I can't say again. I talked about that in my cash plays video, so make sure you go check it out. But what I mentioned in there is that the Kansas City Chiefs are likely going to be playing their backups in this game. So I kind of like the spot in general for Denver, but especially on the tournament side of things here, because Broncos are kind of flying under the radar when they have everything to play for here this week. And then Justin Herbert, kind of talked about this right away at the beginning of this video. I don't know if the Chargers are going to play their starters on Sunday. It really depends on if the Steelers win here on Saturday. So if the Steelers do not win and the Chargers have a chance to take over that 5 seed, I do like Justin Herbert with J.K. Dobbins and Ladd McConkey, but that's something to keep an eye on as we do head into Sunday. Now, moving on to the running backs here, and I talked about a lot of the popular plays when it comes to this position in my cash plays video, and 2 guys that are still cash game viable are Isaac Guerendo of the 49ers and Rico Dowdle of the Cowboys, but they're not as popular as guys like Bijan Robinson and Bucky Irving heading into this Week 18 main slate here, so I kind of like them on the tournament side of things. They're not flying under the radar. They're still going to be rostered, but I love the pricing here. Both these guys are super affordable and allow you to spend up at other positions throughout your lineup. Now, moving on to the wide receivers here, easy stacking piece with Bo Nix is Courtland Sutton. I'd be surprised if he doesn't see A+ targets in this game, again, against the backups for the Kansas City Chiefs. Adam Thielen here. I think this game between Carolina and Atlanta is interesting. That's another game that I think we could stack up. Atlanta is playing to make the playoffs here. They need the Buccaneers to lose, but if that happens and they win, they will make the playoffs. So a little stack there, a little game stack, rolling in Adam Thielen, who's been solid with Bryce Young as of late. I don't mind that at all. And then on the other side of that game, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson, and Drake London are going to be two very popular plays here in Week 18. And Mooney's kind of flying under the radar, so I like that on the tournament side of things. And then talked about Ladd McConkey here. Need to keep an eye on that Steelers game for Saturday. Make sure the Chargers are actually playing their starters on Sunday, assuming they are. I like both JK and Ladd here. But Marvin Mims Jr. at $4,600. Breakout game last week. He's seen 4+ targets now in 5 straight games. I kind of like a little double stack with him, Bo Nix, and Cortland Sutton. Now, moving on to the tight ends here. This is a week I really don't foresee myself spending up at this position. There's just too much value in the 3 to 4K range. However, if I had to pick one guy to spend up for here this week in my tournament lineup, it would be Brock Bowers. The Raiders don't have anything to play for this week when it comes to playoffs, but he's got some rookie records sitting in his hands right now, so I suspect he'll play a full game. Cade Otton is interesting here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's missed the last handful of games, but he has been limited in practice this week, questionable tag for Sunday. Assuming he does play, he's going to fly under the radar, with Mike Evans and Bucky Irving being very popular plays here in Week 18, and even Jalen McMillan, who I didn't talk about, I think he's a fine play at $5,100. You know, look, Cade Otton here has had some big games this year, albeit when Mike Evans was out of the lineup, but for tournaments at $4,200, again, I certainly don't mind that. Zach Ertz has some things to play for here this week, 90+ receiving yards, 9+ catches, 2+ touchdowns, each one of those equivalent to a $250,000 bonus, and then Tucker Kraft here for the Packers. It sounds like the Packers are going to play their starters here this weekend, but again, it's just one of those questionable tags heading into the weekend where we're not 100% sure. So that's one that I'll be keeping an eye on, but at $3,700 against the Chicago Bears, if he does play a full game, I like that play. And then when it comes to the defenses here this week, again, let's keep an eye on that Steelers game, but if the Chargers play their starters here against the Raiders, trying to win and get that number 5 seed, I like them at $3,500. Again, just like Tucker Kraft, we need to keep an eye on the Green Bay Packers, but word is they're going to play their starters here this weekend. If that's the case, I like the spot here against Chicago. Broncos, really good spot against the Kansas City Chiefs at home, who are going to be playing their backups. Seahawks here taking on the Rams, who are playing their backups. Texans, who are taking on the Titans. That's just a good spot. And then the Giants, who are playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who are again expected to play their backups. So a handful of defenses that I do like. We can either spend up or spend down here this week. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks, and let's win some money on this Week 18 main slate.